A client sat in my chair last Tuesday, pulled 6 foundations out of her bag, and said every single one of these cakes on me by noon. These weren't drugstore impulse buys. These were the holy grails that every beauty editor swears by. And she was ready to quit foundation for good. She's not the only one. I've had over 1,000 women sit in that exact chair with the same problem. And after 30 years as a makeup artist in Korea and running my own salon, I can finally tell you why it keeps happening. These foundations were never built for your skin. They were built for 25-year-olds, and the beauty industry just hopes you won't figure that out. I'm 51. I wear foundation on this same mature skin every single day. So I tested all 6 of her holy grails to show you exactly why each one fails on women over 45 and what you should actually be looking for instead. Number 1, MAC Studio Fix Fluid. I gave this a 4 out of 10. Now look, MAC has been around forever. The shade range is solid, and 20 years ago, this was my go-to for editorial work. I have fond memories of this foundation. But on mature skin in your 50s and 60s, Studio Fix is a problem. The coverage is heavy, not in a luxurious way, in a way that flattens your face and makes your skin look like it's been coated in something. I applied it on my Tuesday client, and within 2 hours, it had settled into her smile lines and was sitting in her marionette lines like it was paying rent there. The finish goes matte fast, and matte on dry thinning skin just ages you. Your face ends up looking chalky and tight like your skin can't breathe underneath it. I watch women at the MAC counter get shade matched by a 23-year-old under perfect department store lighting. They look gorgeous walking out. Then, 30 minutes later, they're in the parking lot, leaning into their car mirror, picking at dry patches the foundation grabbed onto like Velcro. That's not a shade problem. That's a formula problem. If you had oily skin at 25, sure, this was your best friend. But skin that's lived a little needs something that moves with it, and Studio Fix refuses to budge. And if you think heavy coverage is the problem, wait until you see what happens when a foundation goes in the complete opposite direction. Number 2, Huda Beauty Faux Filter. 3 out of 10. I'll be honest, when this foundation first came out, I understood the hype. It photographs beautifully. The coverage is intense, and the color shows up exactly as bold as it looks in the bottle. But here's the problem. This was built for Instagram, not for actual life. On mature skin, Faux Filter does exactly what the name doesn't suggest. It doesn't filter anything. It amplifies it. Every dry patch, every line around the eyes, every bit of texture on the forehead gets louder. I watched it oxidize on a client's skin in under an hour, turning from a nice neutral into something distinctly orange around the nose and chin. And once it sets, it will not move. It just clings to the wrong places and refuses to blend back out. A younger woman with smooth, hydrated skin can get away with it. But if you're dealing with the texture changes that come after menopause, this formula is actively working against you. It's the foundation equivalent of putting plaster on a vintage wall and wondering why it looks rough. You deserve better than a product that treats your skin like a problem to cover up. Now, the next foundation on this list gets a higher score than both of these, but it has a problem that's almost worse because you won't notice it until it's too late. Number 3, Revlon Color Stay, 5 out of 10. This is the foundation that nobody gets excited about, and honestly, that's kind of its strength. It goes on smooth enough, the coverage is medium, and the finish is somewhere between matte and natural. It doesn't do anything offensive. For $12, that's not nothing. I've had clients use this for years and feel perfectly fine about it. The wear time is decent if you set it with powder, and it doesn't oxidize dramatically the way some of these other formulas do. But it doesn't do anything special for mature skin either. It just kind of sits there. On dry patches around the nose and forehead, it can look a little flat by afternoon. And on that thin, papery texture that shows up on necks and jawlines after 50, it tends to separate slightly. It's the foundation equivalent of wearing the same bra you bought in 2016 because it doesn't actively hurt. Functional, sure. But you stopped noticing what you actually look like in it a long time ago. I had a client who wore Color Stay for 8 years straight because she said it was the only one that didn't actively annoy her. That's not love. That's settling. And after everything your skin has been through, settling for fine shouldn't be the goal. But at least Revlon was honest about what it is. This next one promised something it absolutely could not deliver. Number 4, Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation. 2 out of 10. I wanted to love this one. The marketing is beautiful, the clean ingredients list is impressive, and for the first 60 minutes on your skin, it looks genuinely lovely. Light coverage, dewy finish, skin looks healthy and fresh. And then it falls apart. I am not exaggerating. Around the 1 hour mark, it starts separating around the nose. By 90 minutes, the dewy finish has become straight up greasy. The areas around your pores start looking like they're sweating through the product, and any dry patches it was covering are now exposed again because the formula has slid right off them. I tested this on 3 different clients with mature skin over the course of a month, and every single one came back saying the same thing. At 9 in the morning, her skin looked 10 years younger. By 10:30, she caught her reflection in her office window and texted me a photo with one word: why? One of them told me she looked like she'd been running in the rain by lunchtime and she'd been sitting at her desk the entire day. For $42, that is not acceptable. Clean beauty is wonderful as a concept, but your foundation still needs to actually stay on your face. The next foundation I tested cost the same amount and stays on for 6 times as long, but it has a different problem entirely. If you're watching this and nodding along because you've lived through every one of these disappointments, hit subscribe. I test products like this on real skin every week, so you don't have to waste your money finding out the hard way. Now, number 5, Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, 6 out of 10. This is the highest score I've given so far, and honestly, on the right day, this foundation is stunning. The finish is naturally luminous, not shimmery or glittery, just genuinely lit from within. It blurs texture in a way that feels effortless, and the shade range leans warm without going orange. When your skin is hydrated and cooperating, luminous silk makes you look like you were born with even skin. The problem is your skin cooperates maybe 3 days a month after 50. The other 27 days, this foundation ghosts you. It just quietly disappears like it changed its mind about being on your face. By the 4-hour mark on most of my mature clients, I can see their redness coming back through, the coverage has thinned out, and the luminous finish has gone flat. If you have somewhere to be for 2 hours and your skin is cooperating, it's gorgeous. For a full day of wear on skin that needs reliable coverage, it just doesn't hold. I actually keep a bottle of luminous silk in my kit for special occasion clients who need to look stunning for a 3-hour event and then go home. For that, it's perfect. But for the woman who puts her foundation on at 7 in the morning and needs it to still look like skin at 5 in the afternoon, Armani leaves her on crease patrol by lunch wondering where her coverage went. 5 foundations down. 4 disappointments, 1 that fades before lunch. And not a single one built for the skin you're actually living in right now. So, when my Tuesday client pulled out the 6th bottle, I'll admit I wasn't expecting much either. Number 6, Luxe Color Changing Foundation, 10 out of 10. This is the foundation my Tuesday client left the salon wearing, and she texted me at 9 that night asking where to buy it. That almost never happens. What makes Luxe different is the color-changing technology. Instead of oxidizing orange the way MAC or Huda will, it adapts to your specific skin tone as it warms up on your face. The color actually gets more accurate the longer you wear it, not less. But what matters most for women over 45 is the texture. This formula doesn't sit on top of your skin like a mask. It sinks in gently, like a really good moisturizer that happens to even out your tone. On that thin, papery texture around necks and jawlines, it smooths everything out without packing into your lines. On dry patches, it hydrates without sliding. Around smile lines and marionette lines, it stays put without settling into the creases. I've tested it on clients with severely dry postmenopausal skin, and the finish at 6 in the evening looks almost identical to the finish at 8 in the morning. No cracking, no separating, no checking your compact at lunch. Full beat at 7 a.m., still holding at dinner. Your skin just looks calm even, and like it belongs to you. My Tuesday client called it the first foundation that didn't make her feel like she was fighting her own face. So after 30 years and 1,000 clients, here's what I need a foundation to do on mature skin. 1, it has to move with your face, not sit on top of it. 2, the color has to get more accurate over the day, not less. 3, it cannot settle into lines, period. And 4, at the 6-hour mark, I shouldn't be able to tell it's been on that long. Luxe is the only one in this test that hit all 4. It's on Amazon. The link is in the description.